I was silent because I knew it was gonna happen. Fucking kicked him out of Discord again. Welcome to What Are We Reading? We're reading more Frollo fan fiction. This time it's chapter 12. Uh, Let me actually move over. What's the name of this chapter? The Legend of the
There
Box.
we go.
Hi.
And I'm back.
I said the intro this time, and I just said finish the chapter.
Yeah. So we're continuing with this shit.
This beautiful piece of shit that I hate with all my passion.
It is the evening following the arrest of the five hapless thieves. We find our merry group gathered in Claude Frollo's drawing room as Fern and Iggy relate the story of Theodore's box.
He has a drawing room?
Apparently.
What?
A fucking nerd has a drawing room.
Yeah, what a loser has a drawing room.
Nerd.
Even nerds. But yeah, all of us, Claude, Fern, Francois, Iggy, and myself, gathered around the piano as I tickled the ivories. Ugh.
It means
Iggy
play
had.
piano.
I don't like that phrasing though. Don't tickle your
You've
instrument.
never heard that?
No, and I don't want to tickle.
That's like a class. I think that dates back to the 30s.
Hey, do you know who wasn't born in the 30s? Me.
Are you
know
sure?
Who doesn't go outside? I mean, Tom's the time one. He could tell me if anything's, You can only put me in a place where, it happens.
Anyway.
Yeah. When Iggy had asked about the instrument, now I know pianos didn't exist before the 1480s. Fern and I had to explain it particularly.
No, but organs did.
What's this? What's with this small organ you have?
Well, you see, it's called a piano forte because it can play both piano and forte.
What's forte?
Loud.
Oh.
Piano means soft.
Oh. It could play soft loud. I see.
It can play soft and loud. But yeah,
That's
organ
true.
dates back to the 3rd century BC.
Yeah, organs have been around for a while. I know that at least. Fern and I had to.
Sorry. So they likely would have seen a pipe organ at some point. So they'd be like, why is this odd? Why do you have an organ without pipes and with only one set of keys?
Watch this. Blink, 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 blink. Wow, it actually works. Watch this. Blink, 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 blink.
Oh my fucking god.
Fern and I had to explain a particularly special holiday delivery. As I continued to play, Claude asked Iggy if he'd like to recount the story of Theodore's box and how it ended up in the 20th century California.
Did you say the 20th century California?
Yeah. The 20th century California. He then turned to Francois and said, "My boy, a few hours ago a bright future was nearly taken from you. Claude, I want you to listen carefully to Danielle's story and take those words to heart." Claude smiled at Francois, adding, "Your descendants will be forever grateful." Francois looked at me in marked puzzlement. I just explained to him that you are about to get a glimpse into your future, Francois, and a glimpse into ours.
The box predates Theodora by about 200 years. You see, the box was made by a Sicilian jeweler presented to Constantine. The guy that had that box made was Lucius Aurelius, a Roman noble of the old guard. Lucius converted to Christianity right before he died, and he credited Constantine for having such a profound impact on his life.
Oh boy.
I'm not going to get into the whole ethics of pre-death conversion.
Oh right, yeah, those people that convert right before they die.
No. The people that coerce people to convert right before they die.
Oh, yeah, that's an entirely different ball. Ooh, or ball game, yeah.
All I'm going to say is not ethical.
It's not, no. Please don't bully old people as they die.
Or people who just got in an accident and died.
That too, yeah, that
I know you
too.
just got hit by a car, but have you heard about Jesus?
Well, you're about to meet him if you if you
If
that
you
just
don't convert
sounds
to
bad.
Jesus right now, you're going to spend an eternity in hell. Have fun.
Please don't.
What the fuck? Anyway, but yeah, not ethical. Note that inscription, Semper Fidelis. It was a reminder to all those new Christians never to lose faith.
Hmm.
Iggy leafed through his papers as he recounted the legend of Theodore's box. Ah, yes, a legendary box indeed.
Ah, yes, the Box of Legends. I've heard of it, haven't you?
Legend has spread far and wide of the pounding that box could take.
Oh my. Could take quite a pounding though.
We listened intently as the box's entangled history came to life.
Long ago in a distant land, I, Aku, made a box for the meme.
Iggy continued. Constantine held on to the box the rest of life. When he died, the box was willed to a Roman noble, some guy named Darius Silvus. This Darius then gave the box to one of his former slaves who had recently bought his freedom. Why Darius would part with such a priceless item is beyond me. Then Iggy turned to Claude and said, Your Honor, you and your friends know the rest.
Quad Frollo nodded, then said to the aging flower child, What?
It's because he's a hippie.
But how did the box end up in Palestine, then ultimately fall to Marvin M. Sweller's hands? Ow.
Gesundheit.
Iggy blew out his cheeks, ran his fingers through his long blonde hair, then continued to recount the rest of the story. It seemed that Theodore's death, the box had been locked away in an underground vault. There it remained for nearly 2 centuries, that is, until Muslims besieged the city in 7th century AD. That's when a fast-thinking servant retrieved the box, stashed amongst some personal belongings, and escaped to Palestine. There it remained with a nomadic family and traveled from place to place until the box was sold to an itinerant junk dealer.
Itinerant
Junk dealer. Iggy let it be known that the dumb dude didn't know what he had until he had let that soldier have it for a song.
Okay. So, most Eurasian cultures, to my knowledge, would consider something made of gold and covered in jewels pretty worth something.
Mm-hmm.
After hearing all this, Claude Frollo rose from his chair, paced about, then asked Fern, Now that Daniel's recounted the unknown history, perhaps you can explain what could have happened. Fern grinned and said, Okay. You all know how the slightest alteration can change history forever. Oh boy!
Oh no.
We all nodded and agreed, then Fern continued. Well, I thought history needed a little nudge, because if we, that's us 20th century folks, hadn't intervened, Claude would have been in a heap of trouble.
Yeah, he deserved it.
Oh, dear God.
Hmm?
Nope, just trying to think of the ramifications of this. I hate it. Now I was alarmed. Claude always said I made such a deep impact upon his life, and as Fern said, time travel has its rewards. Claude said to me, My dear Nisha, when you showed me those finished photographs, Fern had the most brilliant idea. Since the theft of the real box would have affected my life, Fern felt that history needed a slight alteration. Fern went on to explain how she had taken that photo of the real box to a former colleague, a man whose livelihood was reproducing rare artifacts out of the cheapest materials. He's pretty bad at it, but if the paint was chipping that easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, what the heck? Renee and Gerard were stupid enough to fall for the fake, said Fern with a laugh.
So funny.
I
Yeah.
hate the idea of going back in time and changing history to save Claude Frollo, despite the fact that the man never actually existed.
That's a whole different problem.
Yes. Yes.
Did you know Quad Frollo's never existed?
Oh no.
The story just ends. Just, oh no.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Your line.
Anyway, right? No.
Mm-mm.
Now?
Nope. We then. Gazoon type.
What was it?
We then
learned that from Fern's time trips, the genuine box was indeed stolen by Gerard and Lieutenant Saber. It was Rene Robinette who masterminded the theft and was all for revenge. Yves Robinette got his butt beat by Claude Frollo, something about purposely trotting on Claude's new boots, stupid kid. The framing Francois Patel panned beautifully for Gerard and Robinette. Poor Francois was executed for theft.
Anyway, with neither of us 20th century folks around to help, Claude, the Minister of Justice, was beside himself worried that he'd have to explain the theft to his friends. It was Robinette who ultimately presented the box to the king, leaving Claude Frollo minus two very good friends, and with denying guilt, an innocent man was put to death for nothing. Francois was puzzled further. He turned to Claude Frollo and said, "Excuse me, Your Grace, but I don't understand. Did I hear Mademoiselle Fern correctly? I could have been executed for theft, but you knew I was innocent? Poor kid, he's so confused."
Don't hurt the baby, please. He did nothing wrong.
It's hurting the baby.
Don't hurt the baby.
I am very much hurt.
It
was I who
baby.
What?
How could they hurt the baby like this?
It was I who suggested to Claude. Honey, maybe Francois doesn't need to hear all this. I mean, as long as things will turn out well for him, he's still very much alive, and you still have your dignity. Claude pondered this a bit, and then said, perhaps you are right. He then called to Francois, "My boy, why don't you run along to the courtyard?" Adding, "And if I'm correct, in about 10 minutes, Jeanette will be ending her duties." It tastes like peaches. Without a word, Francois shot out of that room like a Polaris missile. Claude turned to his laughing guests and cheerfully said, "You see, I know how a pretty woman can turn a young man's head and heart and dick."
I can tell you how Francois plays into this.
I hate it.
With Francois presently in the courtyard with Jeanette, Iggy felt it safe to tell us, Fern, Claude, and me, how a young man, dead or alive, played such a profound role in the future of the gold box. Francois' salvation would have had a profound impact on Iggy Mullen's life, and how. Anyway, Iggy told us that the box remained among the many royal possessions handed down over 3 centuries from monarch to monarch. The last owner was Louis. That's 16th, right? Louis XVI gave the box to Mary Antoinette as a token of his love, but then came the revolution. Mary, just days from arrest, gave the box to a French noblewoman who had been one of Mary's closest friends. And who was that friend? You there? Hello?
What the fuck?
You okay?
Straight up just wasn't registering my voice.
Yeah, I was like, you there? Hello?
Yeah. Shit. God damn it. Okay.
Hope you didn't have any haha funnies you tried to say.
A young lady named Lily Pateau, Iggy informed us. He noticed our shocked expressions, then added, Yes. Yep. Louis Pateau is a direct descendant of Francois Pateau. This I couldn't believe. Yeah, the idea of Francois having sex is really stupid.
Mood.
But Eggy, I said, Francois was what would have been executed. How can... Oh no. I turned to Claude and asked, just how serious is this romance, honey? All kinds of thoughts raced through my mind as I walked to the window that overlooked the courtyard. Yes, there they are, two young birds. I wonder if Jeanette is... Yes, my love, finally answered Claude Frollo. It is true. Jeanette is with child. Francois' child. As neither of them are married, as per law, they must be put to death.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So stupid. I hate it. I hate it.
I'm just letting this come out one ear and go out the other because I do not want to think about this.
I hate it.
Is it my line?
Yes.
To this. Iggy.
Yeah, to this.
Further explain that Jeanette, after Francois' death, had left Paris and lived a life in complete obscurity. Her child and subsequent descendants would greatly affect the journey of one little gold box. Anyway, continued Iggy, Lily fled to London at the height of the terror. She had a tough time getting out of France. When Iggy went into retelling of the French Revolution and the Reign of Terror, Fern and I had to stifle laughs. Quadfurlow's hand suddenly flew to his neck and his eyes grew wide. His face was the very picture of fear. Sugar bitches, if it's any comfort, by 1789, you'll be long gone.
Sugar bitches.
Claude? Quadfurlow looked at me and said, I'm glad I live in the 15th century, not the 18th. I rather like my head. On my shoulders! Quadfurlow secretly lights down to the kingdom, like, like all that's just being retold, like, be careful.
I wonder if I can find the specific clip. It was one of the unraveled videos on Polygon.
Anyways, while that happens, after we all got over another laughing spell, Iggy continued to recount the tale surrounding Theodora's box. Lily Pateau soon married someone named Oliver Wellington, a wealthy textile merchant who had economic interest in colonial America. The box, which was safely locked away in a London vault, remained in the family for all those years and survived depressions, panics, and 2 world wars before it was spirited away by Marvin Emswiller.
There it is. Guillotine doesn't look like much. Could be a problem, but it's time for us to bring it back. That was on his video, The Sexiest Castlevania Monsters.
Yeah.
Said monster was guillotine in that part. And he says that it just always the word revolt pops up on screen. It's just that's all I could think of.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a picture of him hanging out with a guillotine on his Twitter. Anyway, let's see. And that's when I made a few time trips and found out a few things about old Marv. That was Fern who had uncovered the dirty dealings of a young and ruthless American officer stationed in England. I swear to God.
What?
Are you looking what I'm looking at?
No, I'm looking at somebody shaving the fur around their cat's paws.
Okay, that's weird.
Hey, the cats kept slipping, and they needed to shave. Well, not a shave. It's like using a hair, but yeah, you know what those things are, right? I don't know what they're called, but it just. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna shut up now. Is it my
Okay.
line? Is that what you're waiting
Yes.
for?
Look at this. Look at this.
Look at this. What am
Why
I
would you
looking at?
tell a story? Well, why would you do this in a storytelling format?
Fern's report. That one.
Yes.
Fern's report as told to Claude, Nisha, and Iggy.
Back in 1945, Martin was stationed in England, and this man never once saw combat. Why? Because his big shot daddy pulled some strings with the army and got his spoiled kid a cushy desk job. Anyway, Marvin meets Olivia Jeanette Wellington, the daughter of Quentin Wellington. This family still had economic interests in both Europe and America, and these guys were loaded. But Quentin was a nice guy. Gross. Too bad he couldn't see through Marvin. At any rate, Olivia and Marvin still soon fell in love. Then Quentin, worried about the safety of valuable heirlooms during bombing raids, moved the box and other articles to his country estate in Wiltshire. It was on a trip to Wellington's estate that Olivia showed Marvin the box. So that's how she lost it. It told him the legend behind it. Of course, old Marvin, being a greeting sort, thought how good that box looked in his private collection. So after VE Day, Marvin proposes to Olivia and takes her and the box to America. After he settled in California, he had the box locked away in a San Francisco bank vault. To him, it was like a good luck charm. Soon, a few years later, Olivia and Marvin were blessed with a baby girl whom they named Lily Augustine. Sissy was a nickname, and a terrible one. The kid led a charmed life of private schools, debutante balls, writing lessons, you name it. She had it all. It was all paid for by Marvin's increasing wealth as a plastics and chemicals king. He made a killing, no pun intended, of chemical fertilizers, weed killers, all kinds of plasticware. Marvin's company was also dumping toxic waste into rivers and streams. One plant was dumping stuff near a school's playground. Okay, you're gross, you know the rest. Why?
End of Fern's report.
Why?
There's another one.
Just make it a block of dialogue. Don't format it like this in a story.
You clearly have never seen the power of fan fiction if this is still bothering you.
No fanfiction has done something that stupid.
They do the little star separation things, though.
That's typically between paragraphs or to indicate a break in the story, like a time skip or something. Or a scene change. Not for whatever the fuck that was. But, said Claude Frollo, that's still the matter of him as well as his daughter. He turned to me, pointed to a nearby table, and asked, "My dear, can you hand me that paper?" I complied and handed over a neatly typewritten report. Claude scanned the work, then smiled as he announced, "Our dear Jacqueline was kind enough to gather this information about Mademoiselle Sissy Peabody, née Emswell." The name Sissy Peabody is
Sissy Peabody. Oh god, I really need to calm down because I'm just thinking of, the Vor fan fiction I'm gonna write.
No.
And I also eat Sissy Peabody, and just like, you're gonna turn into pee in my body. Ah. I'll take your silence as a lack of pain.
Am I silent right now? Okay.
No. I said that, and then you went, oh.
He glanced at Iggy, saying, "Shall I read this to the ladies?" I hate that.
Ladies, slicks hair back.
I don't know why, but I hate that. Iggy returned the smile. "Be my guest, Your Honor."
Jackie D'Arcy Terrell report.
Sissy Emsweller was 7. Wait a minute. No, it's Frollo reading it.
Oh.
You know what that means?
No.
Sissy Emsweller was 17 years old when she became very much part of 1960s counterculture. culture. She was about to begin her freshman year at Skidmore when she decided to stage the ultimate rebellion and take off to Woodstock. This is where she'll meet Iggy McMullen. Sissy had already been to San Francisco in 1967, much to the chagrin of her father. As long as her mother was on her side, Sissy was shielded from Marvin's wrath. Let it be known that Marvin was already losing his family, albeit gradually. Olivia Emsweller had already imbibed the feminist rhetoric of Betty Friedan and had organized those early consciousness raisings. It was no secret that Olivia had planned to divorce Marvin and give that box to its present and rightful owner, Sissy. And thinking about like early feminist movement, where part of it was teaching women jujitsu. I'm stroke as fuck. Let's see where. Of course, at this time, Marvin had business worries. He had been buying up stock in his in-laws' American holdings, and it almost ruined him in the process. Then he had skimmed money off his company to keep up his lavish lifestyle. By the mid-1970s, in the wake of federal pollution laws, Marvin was up the proverbial creek. Please remember that Sissy and Olivia were at this time estranged from Marvin, and he's desperate to hang on to what he thought was a charmed life. Now Marvin must come up with some quick cash. So enter oil-rich Kuwaiti sheik who thought Marvin promises the box. To whom Marvin promises the box. This Arab guy promises to pay somewhere in the upper millions for the gold box. I feel like I should be offended.
Yeah.
At this time, Sissy Emsweller and Iggy McMullen are living together in a dinky apartment down in the Marina district. Olivia has approved of Sissy's man of choice, but Marvin hates Iggy with a passion. Why? During Iggy's days at Berkeley, the socially conscious young man organized various protest rallies against Fat Cat Corporation poisoning the environment. As one should, often Sissy would assist him in these protests, and usually against her own father's company. Sissy made it no secret that she hated how Marvin treated her and her mother like property. Not gonna say it. Frollo.
It's not worth it.
Regarded us like his gas-guzzling cars and his fancy houses. All Marvin had to do was wait until Iggy McMullen made the wrong move. And it happened. Iggy uncovered the mysterious gold box that had traveled from Constantine to Theodora to Marie Antoinette. Forgive the handwritten footnote. I knew you wanted this in a hurry. I'm sorry, what? Oh. What?
Can we just ignore this, please?
Right into Marvin Emsweller's greedy hands. To this day, the box is still locked in a San Francisco vault. That box belongs to Sissy, and her mom could use the money more than Marvin, as Olivia Emsweller is getting on in years. There should have been a comma there. And Marvin took off to some South Pacific island. When all that insider trading and acid L stuff came out, it was Marvin who got Sissy to marry John Peabody, all because Marvin thought John's Wall Street connections could bring in some much needed wealth. But John went him to prison, and Marvin got away with everything.
Nice typo. When to put.
I'm so confused about the footnote. What?
I'm not questioning that. All right.
What?
It was so. End of report.
And he rubbed his hands together, facing the room a few more times, and finally said, "And the rest, as they say, is history." I wish I understood that. What?
I did not pay attention to a single report. I am not mentally prepared for those right now. Claude Frollo looked at the aging flower child, saying with a smile, "I do believe history." That is, your history needs a little help. He rose from his chair and announced two very important events that would immediately follow the next day's execution. A wedding and a homecoming. I interrupted. "Uh, a wedding, Claude? Why,
Well,
Francois and Jeanette are to be married. Can't have the poor girl deliver a child without the benefit of marriage. Besides, the marriage is crucial for Danielle's future. And how will a 15th century couple affect my future? Asked Diggy.
Claude Frollo smiled again, then nodded to Fern, saying, I believe your sister can answer that.
Oh my sister, huh?
Uh, uh,
It was Fern who revealed that Lily Patel, once she safely arrived in England, had this inscription engraved on the box of the lid just below the Semper Fidelis in memory of Jeanette. Fern said, You see, Lily had kept the family's promise alive, and I kept that promise alive when I took another trip to 1948 California. Fern went on to say that she took a trip to 1948 the same year Marvin M. Sweller moved his war bride into their new Hob Hill home.
Knob Hill.
Nob Hill.
Did you say Hobnil?
Maybe. I don't even remember. Seems Marvin got nervous about that box and moved it, but that guard? Fern stopped to crack up, then continued. Dwayne took the time trip with me and posed as the armored truck driver. Old Dwayne pulled a switcheroo.
Now it's my turn to crack up. Fern, please don't tell me you had... Oh yeah, I had another fake made up. So about 30 years later, when Marvin had that thing brought out of mothballs, Claude grinned wickedly and said, he presents to his Arab sheik a cheap copy.
I think you skipped a line. Never mind. I'm just dumb. Sorry. Pudding brain. It's pudding brain. Icky still didn't get it. But what about me? He turned to Claude and asked. And what was this homecoming you keep talking about? Quad Frollo smiled again and placed his hand on Iggy Wiggy's shoulder and said, My dear Daniel, when you return to your 20th century world, things will, let's say that a few minor alterations affected the outcomes for nearly everyone in this room.
Well, okay, so a few strings got pulled to benefit Iggy, but what kind of change and where is the genuine box? I am... Jesus fucking Christ. What the actual fuck is this story? Like, I'm pretty sure that the alcohol isn't affecting me anymore.
You think I actually know what the fuck's going on?
You never know what's going on.
Exactly, and I care very, very extra little to this story compared to the other ones, and also because I can't hear you half the time, it's just not worth trying to make sense of what's happening.
God damn.
So I've just been along for the ride, and it's been a wild ride from the very few things that I have read.
Like, this is just the fucking what?
I don't know, dude.
What is the point of this? Why are you so liberally fucking with time?
Who knows, dude? This whole thing just sucks.
Anyway, this hasn't been enough time to be considered a complete episode. So we're continuing.
Oh god, please no.
Did you read the conclusion?
Coming up, the joyous conclusion. The execution. Iggy's life undergoes profound changes. The real box presented Kalanda Denisha hoof it up under neon lights.
Are they dancing? Because I don't know what else you could mean. Because hoof it means to leap, like to walk somewhere.
Yeah.
Hoof it up is That doesn't seem like it would be the same. Anyway, we're on port 13. There's a change coming. It is now September, and Denisha has arrived in 1940s Paris, the day of the king's surprise reception. While waiting for Claude to come up to her room, Denisha reflects on events since she hurled the phony box into Deaton Swamp and learned the true history of the box. Read on.
No one cares. Now, what shall I play first? Fascinating Rhythm or S Wonderful Maple Leaf Ragger? Ain't misbehavin'.
Maple Leaf Ragger ain't misbehaved. Goddamn. I sat in the quiet of my private chambers in the place, waiting for Claude to return. In the meantime, I sifted through some sheet music I'd hastily gathered before I made the time trip. My smile came quickly when I realized I was about to serenade the king with music for my parents' youth. No matter. Anyway, it had been such an eventful eventful summer that I was grateful to indulge in some something polished and sophisticated. And I felt that Claude was in the mood for something different, especially since he finally got a taste of that good 1970s funk and disco of my high school reunion.
Oh.
I've got it. Denisha killed disco.
Yep.
He is responsible for the death of disco. Not that he didn't mind the music of my youth. On the contrary. I mean, Claude Frollo walked into that hotel ballroom. He took me out on the dance. He then took me out on the dance floor. He displayed a side of himself that. Why do you keep doing this?
I was like, wait, why'd he pause? But nope, that's the end of the line.
Why would I?
Of course, that reunion had already capped off.
This is the most annoying thing that has kept happening. It is literally the narration trailing off.
I'll make my fanfiction have that just to piss you off.
What?
I'm gonna make my fanfiction have that.
No.
I'm gonna do that every time. Every chapter is gonna end with that. Hold on, I gotta pour myself some water because my brain hurts.
I have gone through 2 bottles.
Of what?
Water.
Oh. I wish I had 2 bottles of water. All I have is ice, cold. I forgot to put it in the fridge, so it's not cold water. Of course, the reunion had already capped off the most eventful summer. Francois Patau cleared of theft charges, had married Jeanette. The general box had finally turned up. Claude and Fern locked this one away themselves with no assistance. And Iggy returned to a slightly changed life from the 20th century. Oh yes, all this was prefaced by one of the strangest executions ever witnessed by medieval Parisians. No, I don't mean the hanging itself, but the send-off?
What the fuck?
This is getting dark. Denisha's evil.
Yes! Denisha is not even chaotic evil, true evil. True evil. On the morning following Iggy's report on the box, 5 helpless thieves were taken to the town square gallows. These were René Robinette and his son Yves, Gerard, Lieutenant Lassabre, and another boy named Alexandre, though I forgot his last name. You know, those were the same boys who had taunted Francois with their sordid tales of booze and brothel binges. I could use I could use alcohol and prostitution right now. I suppose they tried to paint Francois as not quite the shining young man he truly is. Their attempts to do just that failed miserably. Anyway, all were found guilty. Claude made them plead guilty of theft and condemned to death. Were they tortured?
Yeah, hold on. What do you mean? What Claude Frollo did? What?
Made is specifically in quotations.
And she doesn't care about the fact that a child's being hanged?
No.
Is this like a reference to the original movie or something?
She was all happy about a man being mauled by a dog.
Oh my god.
And believe me, that shit hurts. That is not something anyone should take joy in if they have anything even resembling empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck
these guys.
I, being somewhat squeamish, almost set out this event. But Iggy talked me into it! You want to see an execution?
Hey, you want to watch us hang someone?
Like, what the fuck? Besides, reason, Iggy, I think we owe these fellas a nice send-off. So we got us, Phoebus, Quasi, Fern, Jeanette, Francois, and me to serenade the condemned criminals before they met their fate? What the fuck?
No wonder everyone hated this bitch. God damn.
That morning, we all gathered in the square as the prison cars wheeled past us. All five of those guys grimaced all the way to the gallows. It was Icky who called out to Robinette, "Hey, Ren, sure is a nice day for hanging." What the fuck? What? What? What?
I hate this.
Claude Frollo stood nearby and endeavored to keep his mouth from twitching into a smile, but his expression didn't remain its usual stern austerity. Remain its usual stern austerity for long. For as soon as those guys were lined up to the platform, the nooses placed around their necks, Iggy nudged us to get ready to do our thing. Just before Claude gave the hangman the signal, Iggy called out, "Hey, Your Honor, don't you think these boys deserve a nice little farewell from us?" Claude Frollo raised an eyebrow, his eyes scanning the crowd. A thin smirk appeared, and he replied, "Daniel, I can think of no better way for these men to leave this world." And with that, Iggy launched into a short and funny tirade. You know, you guys could have left well enough alone, but you didn't. I mean, you could have inspected the box when you took it. Why, any fool could see it was a fake, but no, you had to do your jive turkey, gonna get even with the judge business. And you know what? You ain't got diddly and you're still gonna hang. At once, the crowd whooped and howled at Iggy's dead-on John Belushi SNL impression.
Why did you make us read this chapter?
Am I having a stroke?
Why did you rob Tom of this experience?
Is this what a stroke feels like?
Oh, God, do you smell burning?
Everything tastes like pennies.
You might actually be in trouble then.
What the fuck? Even Claude couldn't resist breaking up over this performance. Then Iggy got us to do the farewell song. Okay, guys, I just want to leave y'all with a little something. Iggy briefly cast his eyes heavenward, saying, "Lord, if you could ring up Mr. Crozet, please give him our apologies." And with that, we launched into our brief musical sing-off. Why would you?
You know what? We're gonna go back to like an alternate history where like the Revolution of France took place earlier, all because of how fucked up this is.
What the fuck? Why are they singing "You Don't Mess Around with Jam"?
You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger.
And you don't mess around with Jam.
Nope, that's not correct in this version.
That's no. Oh my fucking god. That doesn't make any sense for the rhyming scheme because it's literally a false rhyme between the word wind and Jim. At once, Francois, Jeanette, and Quasi recited in unison, "And you don't mess around with Claude Frollo."
Can I actually, yeah, can I go?
I'm going to kill someone.
This is why I'm going to vor Claude Frollo. Clearly, this man deserves it.
Oh. Dear Claude got a mighty big laugh out of that impromptu performance.
Ha ha ha! Death.
Yes, I do believe that an apology is in order for Jim Crocet. What the fuck? What? What?
Your pain sounds so much disconnected now to me because I can't hear it half the time. It sounds like you're grunting in pain as you're laughing to me for some reason.
No, it's pain. This isn't laughing. Not laughing. I am not laughing. Walking, but he got a few last digs of his own. Walking up to the unfortunate man, Claude Frollo gave them an earful of the worst kind. Then, just before he gave the high sign, he dealt both Robin and Gerard many resounding blows, saying, "That's for insulting and threatening my lady." Yes, beat the shit out of the people on death row. That is a great idea. It's not even like they're on fucking death row for murder. What the fuck? It's literally.
Fuck this! How did anyone on those forums allow this to happen? How did anyone think it was okay? How did anyone deal with this for so long? This lady deserved to be banned from the forums, banished for life. What is wrong with this person?
What kind of terrible ass moderation was going on the forums to allow FSM number 14 to continue her reign of terror?
Oh my god! What happened? What was the ending of this? Like, what happened to the forums? What happened to Frollo Freak 14 SF? Whatever the fuck her name is? What happened? Why was this allowed to go on for so long? Was there no such thing as blocking back then? Oh my god!
What the fuck?
I hate this. What in the absolute fuck? Thanks, Claude. You've always been there to defend me. Oh yeah, I had to leave right after that, because after Claude had his big laugh and his revenge, he gave his high sign. I still get squeamish at public executions.
Oh, you poor baby. What the We've only just begun to live white lace and promises.
It was a simple little ceremony, just a few friends and someone else we had yet to meet. Later on, this mystery guest. It's Claude Frollo's mommy and daddy.
Full of smiles and hopes for the future, Francois and Jeanette Patot emerged from Notre Dame to face a cheering crowd. Jeanette was lovely in her simple cream-colored linen dress and lace veil. Francois was resplendent in a deep blue velvet doublet, matching tights and shoes. You know, I think Frank appeared to be a few pounds slimmer.
Yes, the future made him slimmer. Isn't this still the fat bride lady?
She was calling someone a fat boy earlier, so apparently she's Pennywise.
Hey there, fat boy.
Hey there, fat boy. That was not even close to the right voice. Kiss me, fat boy. Still not the voice, but it's the right line. Anyway, oh boy, Fern and I hosted the reception in our Paris house. It was a small gathering with the happy couple. Claude, Fern, Iggy, and me should be in, enjoying a pleasant repast of cake and, get this, wine coolers. You would. This was Iggy's idea. The man is so 70s. Wine diluted with carbonated water, asked Claude Frollo upon first sip. No self-respecting Frenchman would do such a thing. No self-respecting anyone would. He smiled thinly when Iggy mentioned, hey, Slick, it's a California type thing. Then Claude grew puzzled again when he asked Iggy, Daniel, this time Slick. Everyone started breaking up when Iggy explained, oh, man, that's a word for a good-looking establishment type dude. But the dude's cool, like you, Slick.
Okay,
Why are we here?
because you said you want to do another chapter.
I'm
You just
still
had
not
to get to
done
your
with my
landing.
line.
Huh?
Claude Frollo's face underwent the strangest changes of expression. Then, at last, he broke down in a rip-roaring laughter. Daniel McMullen, I have a feeling we will see more of you. I sure as fuck hope not.
Me neither.
And we did see some more of Iggy in the past, in the months and years to come. But wait, let me tell you about that other wedding guest. Yeah.
Remember when Claude recounted the story behind Francois's family? Remember how Madame Patel had taken it to in a border, fell in love with him, then had his child? Madame Patel died in childbirth. The baby died hours after birth. Child's father and Emily Levine had left Paris before Madame Patel was in her 5th month. He had suffered the loss of his own wife and had only come to Paris because he felt he needed a change of scenery. Well, this time, as if it called, Emily arrived in town just in time to witness the marriage of Francois and Jeanette. It was later that afternoon when Emily came by the house to offer Francois a very plump position within the Levine family business. Of course, that meant Francois would be leaving Paris and Claude Frollo's proud watchful eye. Claude beamed at this boy. Good, my boy, and seek your fortune in Masserilles. Who knows, your descendants may very well make their marks in France, perhaps in other countries. It was I who cautioned the Patois to keep their family promise alive, make sure each generation passes down your story, and let not one stranger steal your descendants' birthright. The new Manapatao didn't quite get the picture, but Francois did, for he remembered this little history lesson behind the golden box.
So history's been preserved. It will be up to these two and their descendants to see that. Hey, how about Iggy?
I don't give a shit about Iggy.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck
Yeah, what
everyone.
about Iggy?
Fuck everything.
The 40-something flower child finally went home to the 20th century. Oh boy.
Need pictures of orc women to cheer me up. There's only one cure for this story, and it's orc women. For the times and the lives, they are changing.
Yeehaw.
Your
When
line.
Fern took Iggy back to the 20th century, it was truly an eye-opener for the middle-aged flower child. As Fern related to Claude and me, Iggy, exhausted from his adventures, collapsed in a heap moments after he entered Fern's home. When he awoke the next morning, a tall, glamorous, dark-haired 40-something woman was serving him breakfast in bed. This was Sissy Emsweller, Iggy's long-lost love.
Oh my god. Oh, there is a lot fucked up with this.
I know this sounds strange, so Back to the Future is, but when Claude Frollo told Iggy that there would be a few alterations. But dear Iggy, his life completely altered because he decided to take his sister's car for the little droid. Wasn't the least bit upset. After all, he reasoned he was reunited with the woman he'd never stopped loving, and he discovered his name had been cleared long ago, but Iggy didn't know all this.
I feel so uncomfortable.
Me too. Well, I'll be, so that's what you all were saying about a few minor alterations. Iggy McMullen returned to the 20th century a changed man with a changed life. Well, not all that changed. More on that later. Oh my god, I just want to have my character steal the Mercedes-Benz, go into the future, then just refuck everyone's history.
Of course, you're all wondering, how did this happen? Let me explain.
Well, you see, I'm the creator of this story, and whatever I want the fuck happens, happens.
That's typically how storytelling goes.
Yeah.
You see, when Fern and Dwayne took a little trip to 1948 San Francisco, they pulled a switcheroo on old Marv Emsweller. Everything, from the time Constantine originally received the box to the time that Marvin had sprinted away from England, truly happened. All of Iggy's research rang true, but there were a few minor exceptions.
Lily had the box engraved all right, but 300 years after Francois and Jeanette married, these words appeared just below the Semper Fidelis on the inside lid. In memory of Francois and Jeanette Bathou, keep this box in the family, and that's what was on the inside of the lid when Marvin spirited the box away from 1945 England.
Would you need to put the inscription, keep this box in the family, if you already have it in memory of Francois and Jeanette Bathou? What?
I don't think these people know how to brain, dude. Honestly. What the fuck is happening? What in the literal fuck is happening?
Hell, all you would really need is property of the Bathou family.
Mm-hmm. Everything that Fern said about Marvin and Olivia planned out as... Oh, wait, yeah. What's my line again? Where was I reading? Or was that actually my line? Yeah.
And that's what was on the inside. It's right after keep this box in the family.
And that's what was on the inside of the lid when Marvin speared the box away in 1945 England. Everything that Fern said about Marvin and Olivia planned out as usual, except the sale of a gold box. As it happened, Iggy had done all that research on the gold box, and he organized that protest against Marvin's company. But in 1973, when it came time for Iggy to present his final project, Marvin decided to sell the box earlier than planned. It also planned out that Iggy got expelled from college after Marvin pulled some strings. The protest against Ernst Mall's chemical organized by Iggy was the last straw. No way, thought Marvin, was this half-pint hippie going to ruin the sale of a lifetime. So enter this oil-rich sheik who promises to pay millions for the box. Marvin has the box brought out of the mothballs.
Brought out of the mothballs. You know, someone tampering with history can produce the strangest effects.
Don't.
Kill.
We need to Danny delete this.
Kill.
Fern had taken another time trip to 1973, this time letting Kyle pose as one of the armored trunk guards. When Kyle handed the box to Marvin, who in turn handed it to the sheik, this man was not very pleased at being tricked and swindled, so in an act of vengeance, the week following this botched deal, Marvin Eswar's private jet mysteriously vanished somewhere over the South Pacific. All search and recovery efforts had been unsuccessful. Marvin, in reality, took off for some teeny sub-Pacific island. He decided the week following this botched deal, Marvin Eswar's private jet to go into hiding rather than face the angry sheik. He would surface again only to face charges of corruption, embezzlement, and fraud, but more on that later.
Rip that cat.
Please don't turn to Doom Guy Dog. I don't want to have to pay for a lawsuit or just be around to watch that happen. Which
lawsuit are we talking?
Exactly. I don't want to get into that. All right.
I'm pretty sure it would be either property destruction or murder.
I don't want to watch either of those happen, dude. All right.
The actual event or the lawsuit?
Both. Because either way, if you do it in front of me, I'm gonna have to be a witness, and I don't want to.
Kill. Of course, with Marvin temporarily out of the picture, that meant the box finally ended up with its true and rightful heir. You see, when Fern and Dwayne pulled the switch, the genuine box was returned to Olivia Imswiller with an ample explanation supplied by Fern. Olivia had the treasured box locked in another undisclosed location. However, with the real box safely tucked away where Marvin couldn't get to it, there was still the matter of Iggy's expulsion. The flower child had since moved back to Indiana, a broken, dejected young man. He would bury his misfortunes in music, beer, and pot before taking off in 1976. That was the year the band broke up, and Iggy decided to hit the road and spend the rest of his life drifting from place to place. But there were still people out there who tirelessly helped to clear his name and give back his lost dignity. It was Sissy who continued Iggy's research, and eventually presented the findings to the university. She was also instrumental in bringing her own father to justice. During the late spring of 1985, when Sissy completed Iggy's initial research and publicly presented her findings, she publicly recounted how Marvin had stolen the box only to sell it to the highest bidder. Soon, Marvin Imswiller became the subject of every government investigation.
Yeah, right.
From Washington to Sacramento, there was a sudden interest in Marvin's shady dealings. It was John Peabody, the man whom Sissy was supposed to marry. Remember, after all those years... Oh, wait, no. Remember that things had been slightly altered, who confessed that Marvin was alive and well. After all those years, dear old Marv was still in hiding on some island estate in Micronesia. It didn't take long for the press to catch up with Marvin, and it didn't take long for the government to find him either. Throughout the trial and publicity, Olivia remained completely unruffled, and she even testified against her ex-husband.
Oof.
Kill.
Whoa, slow down there, Maurice.
Kill.
Save it for later. Come on.
Kill.
Oh, God. Is it my line? Yeah.
Yes.
So after a life of wheeling and dealing, Marvin Emswiller was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Although he was payrolled early, he immediately returned to his island home. It was later reported that Marvin, while seeking business opportunities in mysteriously vanished somewhere in the rainforest, never to be seen nor heard from again. And good riddance, exclaimed Claude Frollo when the news reached his ears. Now our Daniel may at last fulfill his life's purpose.
Murder, death, kill. Murder, death, kill. Murder, death, kill.
He's reached a psychotic trance. No one can save him now.
As promised, when Iggy returned to the 20th century, he was reunited with his long-lost love. He also received a letter of apology from the university and his long overdue degree. That meant that all those years Iggy spent running from himself were over. That doesn't change the fact that he still experienced them.
Mm-hmm.
Fern told me that later on, Iggy and Sissy decided to get married and moved back to Indy. I know it's kind of square sometimes, but it's a great place to raise a family, reasoned Iggy. You see, it's his character developed, because now he's settled down, because that's what you're supposed to do, people. You're supposed to settle down. You can't live for yourself, you can only live for your children.
Mood.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, that got pretty dark there, buddy.
That also meant that he could at last get his life back on track. Both he and Sissy received two very special wedding gifts. A hefty, in the seven-figure range, check from Fern, and his and her pager/time traveler specifically designed by Jackie Darcy Terrell.
Oh, how sweet.
Murder, death, kill. Murder, death, kill.
Come on. This is it's just a story. There's nothing to actually murder.
Kill.
No, don't do
Iggy
that.
felt that since he and Sissy were now a couple and were students of history, they could take time trips and witness history firsthand. Yes, just introduce her to time travel. It's a great idea.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree. Let's do just that. Nothing will go wrong.
Sissy was skeptical about time travel, but when she heard all about Iggy's adventures in 15th century France, she had only this to say. Iggy and I will have a slight advantage over everyone else. We will be the ultimate participant observers. Nick Bullens would take these trips, then return to 20th century schools and present unique historic programs. Ignoring the fact that what they would be presented would be essentially unfounded research with no actual evidence to back up what they were saying.
Yep.
Sissy doesn't have an actual character.
Yeah, we barely met her. I don't know what the fuck this lady
is the first time she has spoken in the entire story.
Yeah, that's no good.
The kids, Iggy said after one of such presentation to a group of fourth graders, the kids said that we made it sound like we were really there. I mean, we had drawings, tape recordings, you name it, we had it. But we couldn't really tell them that we went back in time. I mean, you could and make it seem to the parents that it was just,
that good.
A gimmick to the presentation.
Yeah.
Whenever you would have something like a prehistory camp for kids. We went back in time to get you these bones. Of course, the parents would just think that it was some sort of little kind of device to make the kids play along.
Suddenly the kids are back in time. Blast to the past.
For instance, you could show the tape recordings, and parents/teachers would likely think that it's nothing more than, a historical reenactment.
Yeah.
It's quite simple.
Then the kids come back with the Black Plague.
No, I'm talking about the stuff that they're showing to the kids.
Yeah.
You don't technically need to hide the fact that you time travel from children, because children are dumb and will believe anything, and the parents would likely believe that it was merely something used to get the kids to be more interested and involved.
Yeah.
Like I said.
Yeah.
So Iggy and Sissy, the time traveling historians. That's not a sentence. We would encounter them many times. And Claude Frollo was one fortunate individual to actually get a glimpse into his past and his future.
Like I said, he now knows about the revolts of the future. I'm pretty sure he's going to tell someone.
Off with his head.
Yep. Yes, like Claude said, everything and everyone was affected by giving history a slight nudge. But what about the band? Who gives a fuck about the band?
Oh yes, the band was still around. Once Iggy moved his new bride back to Indy, it was his idea to permanently revive the band. Just for fun. Once again, Hornet's Nest continued to wow audiences at art festivals, high school reunions, oldie shows, and the state fair. Just like in the old days, the band was a permanent outlet for all that stress. Only now, it was a much needed outlet from the everyday stress of kids, mortgages, and carpools. Oh yeah, Iggy and Cindy decided to adopt a couple of kids, who were promptly named Lily Jeanette and Francois Frank Emile. Yes, Sissy kept the family promise alive. The box is still locked away somewhere in California, waiting for its next and rightful owners.
Oops! Did I mention that Hornet's Nest played reunions? Well, that's another fact of Daniel Ignatius McMullen that Claude Frollo had yet to fully experience. It was truly an evening to remember. Claude Frollo became very much the center of attention. I'm not reading the conclusion. Next, we're done, alright?
Coming up, Nisha's old classmates can die for. Hornet's Nest rocks, and the king receives two special gifts: the box and the most beautiful music. A special thank you to Destiny Band for supporting us on Patreon. If you like what we do and would like to support us, then consider going down into that link in the description and donating to our Patreon.
Please save us from this hellhole.
Murder, death, kill, death, murder, death, kill, murder, kill, death.
special thank you as well to Summer Moon Soldier.